Well, hey,
Hey.
how's your week been since I've seen you last, which was just a couple of days ago?
Good, good. Just getting a lot accomplished this week. Gonna be out of town next week and just trying to round out some final things I need to get taken care of.
Yeah.
How about you?
We're trying to wrap up the podcast this week, so I'm doing a lot of that, and then I go to the beach next week with my family. So we all know how that goes, especially for women, when you try to get everything done beforehand. So when you come
Yes.
back home, it's not cray cray. You come home to a nice clean house, your laundry's done, errands done, things like that. So I've got to do all that this week too. But
Yeah.
I mean, I can't complain about it.
Yeah. Well, I know we've talked about this previously, but I had switched on my medical records, obviously,
Hmm.
because our OBGYN retired,
Right.
same group, different doctors.
Hmm.
But anyway, called today because I haven't heard anything. And that was back in like September, October
Hmm.
that I had all my medical records moved to the new doctor. So I started thinking, well, it's time for my visit in the next couple of months, time for mammogram, all the things. So, haven't heard from anybody. So I called and it was brand new information for them. They had not gotten
Oh
my
my
medical
gosh.
records. Yeah. So I was like, "You have got to be kidding me." Because I've been very patient and normally I'm on top of things, but I also because I know what it's like to be on the receiving end, I
Yeah,
try to give people the benefit of the doubts and take
sure.
them a little bit of time, whatever. And I probably should have called before now, but I thought they've got me in the queue,
Hmm.
know what's going on. I told them when my annual visit and all this stuff was due. So I feel like,
So your
hey,
appointment's still set up.
no,
They didn't even have you down for the
no,
appointment?
no.
Oh,
So I had to call the other group and ask them. And she goes, "Well, I show right here. I sent it over October 17th." And I'm like, "Well, can you send it again?"
right.
So I was on the phone with the other lady 2 or 3 times today trying to schedule. And she's like, "Well, it's probably going to be September." And I'm like, "No, it's not. We need to need to get that mammogram scheduled." So I'm I'm getting that done in
Yeah,
July. But I'm like, oh my word. So anyway, that is a lesson for me to not be the nice guy and
right,
give people the benefit of the doubt.
right. I have a friend on Facebook that recently spoke about how it took forever for her to get her kids' medical records sent over to another doctor. Like she had to keep calling and calling and calling. And I don't think it's always been like that. It seemed like I remember when I was younger and I had my stuff transferred, it just got transferred.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a big deal, especially if everything's computerized. I don't know if
Hmm.
you're sending the actual folder or file or whatever, but still, it's beyond ridiculous that it should have to take that long to get
Yeah.
anything done.
Well, and they're in the same
And it's
building.
your records,
Hmm.
you know? So,
And they're in the same. They're at Brookwood. They're in
oh,
the same building. And I don't know if they're on the same floor. I think maybe one floor apart, but I mean, I'll walk them down
right,
there. I mean,
right,
just let a girl know
right.
that we're having issues. But yeah. So anyway, that was part of my lunch break today is trying to get that figured out. But
Would
and
imagine.
it kind of dug in a little bit deeper for me because I'm now taking all these hormones.
Mhm.
And if I was relying on them,
Right,
I'm not technically a patient. You don't even have my stuff.
right,
So
right.
what's going on? So luckily, I have, taken charge of that piece months ago and gotten in with this new
Mhm.
provider. And so she's handling all of my hormones, but oh my word.
Well, I stayed. I'm just seeing the other doctor
Oh,
that
okay.
stayed. I
Yeah.
ended up not transferring because I wanted to see her first,
Yeah.
and if I just didn't click with her, then I would look for someone else. So,
Okay.
I still may need to call though and just make sure, but it's supposed to be the same office
Okay.
because not all the doctors there,
Right.
left.
Right.
So, anyway, we'll see. Maybe I need to do that tomorrow.
Yeah. I would suggest it based on what's happened.
Because my appointment is not until, I think, October.
Okay.
Mine was coming around, like, in August every
Mm-hmm.
year, and when I called to schedule with her, I guess a lot of patients were staying
Mhm.
there, so it was pushing it back. So it
Yeah.
was putting me at like 14 months. So
Well, that'll
I
actually be
really,
really good for you anyway, because you'll be done with the wedding and past all that.
yes, I
And
need to look at the date. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, to make
yeah,
sure it's not the week of the wedding.
yeah. Well, and I've been on this journey too with trying all these different foundations. And so I have a new one on today.
Oh, do you?
And I feel like it looks pretty good, like looks pretty natural,
Mhm.
like close to my skin tone, which I have a terrible time trying to match.
Yeah, same.
But it feels like it's very dry.
It doesn't
Does it
look
look
dry.
dry?
No, and it
Okay.
doesn't look like it's the wrong
Cakey or
coloring.
anything?
What brand
Okay.
is it?
I knew you'd ask me, and I had no idea. I ordered it online when I saw like this recommendation. I don't think it's Maracuja, but it's something like that. So it's just, it's really like a sunscreen,
Mhm.
but it's tinted, but it's thicker than like just a tinted moisturizer. Like that BB cream
So
is
it's not
super.
Color Science.
No,
Okay.
no.
That's what I use. That's what I have on today.
But that is the
But
one
mine's
that
too dark.
goes on like
White.
white.
Mhm.
I
And
don't
then as
think
soon
it's
as
too
you
dark.
it
Clear
is,
in it.
like, when I'm outside,
Mm-hmm.
I can tell. So
Okay.
I recently just ordered the next shade lighter,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna see how that is. But
Okay.
it looks okay indoors, but when I'm outside, I can tell.
Well, do you like it? Like the
Oh,
texture
yeah.
and everything of it?
It's not cakey at all.
Okay.
It's not
I
like
might need to
foundation.
know. I might need to try that too,
Yeah.
because I'm really persnickety about it, because I've bought multiple ones, and I put it on the back of my hand or
Yeah.
something. I'm like, oh, this matches. This looks great. I get home. It's way too dark, way too light, way too cakey, way
What do
too
you usually get, like medium or light or
light.
light? Okay.
Right. And it really, I'm so like a yellow undertone. I'm
Mhm.
very olive, even though
Yeah.
you can't tell because I'm so pale.
Yeah, me
But
too.
if I'm in the sun, I look more Italian.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm have a yellow undertone,
Well, I was gonna say if my new shipment comes in and I like it better, I could give you mine to try, but mine's a medium.
which is going to be way darker for me.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean, that's what I have on.
But I've gotten to where I bought one from Sephora, and it was a light one, and it matched really well, but it's like when I wear it, I have to put on a ton of bronzer to not be
Yeah.
like washed out completely. So I've started mixing 2 or 3 different to try to get the right
Yeah.
color.
Yeah.
But this one I just used it by itself.
Have you used any of the powder foundation, like Laura Geller and there's another
Mhm.
one, can't remember. Do you like it?
I've tried the Bare Minerals. I've tried, I think it was Laura Geller. I've tried several, and to me, it just almost looks
Yeah.
powdery for me. I would rather have like a dewy look, especially as
too.
I'm aging.
Me too. Well, Sephora might have one. I don't know what all I've got downstairs, but yeah, I mean it looks good on, I guess, but it does look like you've got powder on
Mhm.
sometimes. I don't know. I haven't tried it in a while, but it's also very light. So I
Mhm.
really need full coverage.
Mhm.
And so like this, what I have on today, it's not really a full coverage, but if I do full coverage, it's usually a foundation, and then that's when it starts looking a little cakey,
Mhm.
you know?
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's tough. So if you guys have any suggestions, if there's one that you just absolutely love, please let us know,
because my
because
15 videos that I did on social media wasn't enough for anybody.
well,
And I tried on all
I
those.
remember, but
But you like to see a video
I
pictures.
do.
People will get a certain lighting and it
Or a
changes, or
filter,
yes, or they
or
smile or don't smile. You need to see it while it's being put.
well, I was influenced. That's why I bought this. And I think I did not put any additional moisturizer on, and that's a whole thing. But I
Yeah,
have this whole little routine
me
of
too.
stuff I do, and I did not put on moisturizer before I put my foundation on today. And so that might be part of it.
Why you think it looks dry?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it might just be my skin is too dry.
yeah.
But anyway, I'm open to suggestions. It's just I mean, I bought everything from drugstore to Ulta to really high
Yeah.
end to, but I'm not going to spend two or $300 on a foundation and get it home and have to throw it
Right.
away.
And there's not many that you can get little samples of, like
Right.
perfume and stuff. When I got something, Alastin, I think is the brand,
Mhm.
and I'm gonna try it one day and then put my makeup on over it. So when I go get my microneedling done, they give
Mhm.
you like, or you can buy a little recovery pack.
Mhm.
So it's got like a cleanser, it's Alastin cleanser, some kind of nectar cream or whatever, but it's real. I'm not gonna say it's more like an ointment. Okay.
Okay.
Those are like,
Thicker than a serum.
yeah. And then it's got a what's the last one? Some kind of face. It's a, I don't know, it's another kind of ointment. But the nectar, oh my gosh, I can't even explain it. Like when it goes on, it's not super cakey, but your skin just feels so soft, like that
Mm.
on your skin.
Mhm.
And then the thing that you put on after that, it's very gel, kind of like jelly. So
Mhm.
if I put it on in the morning, like I could still do that in the afternoon and
And
you can
it's tacky.
yeah, you can still feel it, which is fine if I'm not going anywhere because it's great for my skin. But going back, the nectar cream or ointment or whatever it is, I think I might try that under my foundation or
Mhm.
my tinted moisture or my tinted sunscreen just to see how it goes on.
Well, one of my coworkers, and I'm embarrassed to say this, but I don't really care. Um, h- Everybody knows oil and water do not mix. Okay. Everybody knows that. But I was not thinking about it. And I was using this specific type of moisturizer and then using this foundation. And my foundation just looked like it was like spotty and
Yes.
different stuff. And she goes, "Oh, well, you just need to, check and make sure that you're using oil and oil and not water and oil or vice versa." And I'm like, I mean, I looked
I
like
wouldn't
a
even thought
complete
about that either.
idiot. I was like, oh my God. And so I'm looking at my foundation and it's like a water base.
Mhm.
And I was using this really thicker moisturizer that was more of an oil base. And
That
that's
makes
why it
sense.
looked like crap. And I'm like, oh my God. And so anyway, now I'm using all these different toners. I'm still doing the skin flooding, but I'm using just a very basic, like CeraVe or
Yeah.
something like just basic moisturizer
Mhm.
to put on over it. And now my makeup is not doing that.
That's crazy.
Oh my gosh.
I
How stupid are
I
you?
know, I would have never thought of that. Maybe I need to look at my stuff because I normally put on a, like a pineapple nectar is what she calls it. It's like a
Yeah.
peptide or whatever. It's that Uncommon Beauty by Kristen Cavallari. I put that on, so it's like a vitamin C
Mm-hmm.
serum, and then I put on her water cream,
Yeah.
like face moisturizer or whatever, which is great because I don't normally wear makeup.
Mm-hmm.
But now, which I haven't really noticed my makeup doing what you were talking about, but that
Yeah.
does make sense.
Yeah. It was like mixing water and an oil-based paint. That's
Right.
what my
Yeah.
foundation looked like that day. And I was
Right.
like, what is going on? Do I
Right.
need to exfoliate? Like
Yeah.
it looked patchy and
Yeah.
like almost you could see the swirls from my
Yes.
makeup brush. Like it
Yes.
wouldn't, go on smooth. So
Hmm.
anyway,
Well, I'm gonna have to look at some of my stuff just to
yeah.
make sure, especially when you're layering on.
Yeah.
If you try to do the combination of foundations to find your
Mm-hmm.
color, you're using different brands and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
And so I have some vitamin C and it feels almost oily. Like
Yeah.
when you put it
Right.
on, I'm like, maybe that's causing it. So I've been not doing that but I need it. So I
Yeah.
guess I need to do it at night, but then I don't want to roll over on my pillow. Like it's a whole thing.
I know.
It's a whole thing.
Yeah, because I'm bad about waiting until, like, I'm going to lay in the bed
Yes, me
to
too.
put on my stuff instead of doing it, like, 7 o'clock at night. And
Yes.
so, but I'm usually up for a bit anyway in my bed, but when I start to, like, get on my pillow, I, like, got my arms up under here, like, propping up so my face doesn't hit my pillow,
I
you
need to
know?
like sit up like this, like a Dracula and sleep so I don't get my stuff
Yeah,
because I'll be rolling over on my side.
yeah.
I've got a silk
Me
pillowcase and
too.
I'm rolling over, and then the next morning there's like a circle where all my moisturizers pressed in it. Anyway,
Oh my
it's
gosh.
first world
Yeah.
problems, but you know, help a girl out because I'm trying to get my face right.
Yeah.
I'm trying to hold
Yeah.
on desperately to my youth. I would just like to be able to not have to have a chemistry degree to put on my makeup.
Well, and then you got like, me tonight, I've got my water up here because I was coughing a little bit in our episode the other night. Hopefully I've edited it out, but we use limeade for our margaritas. So it's got
Yes.
a lot of sugar in it. And my mouth gets dry. That's why I haven't drank or haven't had sweetened tea in years. I mean, every now and then if somebody gives it to me on accident, I might drink it, but for the most part, I order unsweetened tea. And, so I'm just used to it. Even a Coke sometimes will just like my mouth will feel dry and it's just all that sugar. But this has so much sugar in it and it's making my throat so dry. And then I talk, I feel like nonstop up here. So I told you I was going to bring some water up here tonight. So
Well, and we have to talk about our bracelets.
yes.
So I always wear all of these bracelets. I don't know if you guys can see, but my new red one that I love, Lisa bought for me, and she got it from Madison on Love on the Spectrum.
Yes.
So talk
She,
about it.
yeah,
You have some on too.
yeah, she has her own business, which where she makes these. Well, she makes jewelry, but it's mainly bracelets. I think she might make some necklaces.
Necklaces.
Yeah. So, I wanted to order some forever. And then after we got done watching the season a couple weeks ago, I thought I'm going to just go on there and order some. So I was just looking at all of them and I love greens and blues and all that. So I just got some and I knew you like red. So I think there was some kind of deal where if you bought a certain amount, you get like
Mhm.
15% off. But anyway, if y'all love these little I don't know if you
Yeah, I don't
see
know if you
mine,
can
but
even say it, but
they're just beaded bracelets. But she's actually got some where it's not like the balls, it's more it's flat. Like
Mhm.
the whatever she's putting on the wire, the beads or whatever, they're not ball shaped. They're more like a flat,
Mhm.
um, like if you flatten this or whatever. But I just thought these were prettier. But if you love, love the spectrum like we do, or even if you don't, you just want to support her, you can go to her website. Here I am doing a plug for her. But it's she spells it Madison, Madizen. But anyway, you can just say Madison Love on the Spectrum and bracelets or something like that, and her little site will come up. But
Yeah. And they're so cute. All of them have a little
yeah,
heart,
the
a little bead heart.
mhm,
So super cute.
yeah. And she's always got her bracelets on
Oh,
both arms,
yes.
her necklaces.
Way up. She
Yes.
wears a lot.
She
Yeah.
likes her colored makeup, and it usually
Mhm.
matches either what she's wearing or her
Yes.
jewelry, so she is just super cute, but yes, she makes these, so and then she sends them in a little bag, and it's got a little note in there where she has signed her name, "Love Madison," so I kept it, so anyway, we're just really excited to to get these little beaded bracelets.
Yeah. And I can't wait to see what she wears for her wedding.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. It'll be fun.
Well, we decided tonight was gonna be more like a little host choice for our subject, which mine actually happens to be Love on the Spectrum. So I don't know
Love it.
what yours is. I wrote down a couple of different things. I didn't know how long we would be, but I kind of changed mine at the last minute because I saw something on social media. So
Mm.
that's what I'm going to share about tonight. I don't know what you decided on. Women's
So,
health.
no, believe it or not, no, we're skipping that tonight. I wanted to talk about just based on some conversations that you and I have had recently. I really wanted to talk about women's friendships again
Okay.
and kind of bring that up. I just feel like I have a lot to say right now about it, and I feel like there's a lot of people that can relate.
Mhm.
So,
Okay,
um,
that sounds awesome.
yeah. So, why don't you kick us
You want
off?
me to go first? Okay, let
Yeah.
me take a drink of water since I'm about to start talking nonstop. So, um, I was on social media the other night, and Tanner from Lit on the Spectrum, his mom made a post.
I
Did you
saw
see it? Okay.
Mhm.
I almost sent it to you, and it was really late at night, and I didn't. So she just said, to not scroll past and to just watch the post that she was going to make because something had been said on a podcast. I think it's called the Daily Podcast or
Mhm.
something like that. And someone had made a comment about Tanner.
Mhm.
And so basically, she just showed a whole montage of just these videos and pictures of Tanner before his life on Love on the Spectrum. Because what was said on the podcast kind of alluded to like Tanner wasn't important or wasn't anybody special until he was on the show. And
Yeah.
so her point was he had all of these accomplishments and was a great kid before the show. The show is just
Yeah.
highlighting
And it was
who
very
he is.
insulting
Well,
what they said.
so I, of course, looked it up because I wanted to see who said it and what podcast it was because I had
Mhm.
never heard of that podcast. Anyway, so the girl that said it was Kaylin, and she used to be on the show. So did you hear?
I did not know that piece.
Okay, so I think did Tanner's mom put the part that was said on her post?
I
I
think
can't
she
remember.
did, and
Okay,
she read it,
okay.
maybe.
Well, when I heard it, I thought, who would say that about Tanner? Like something
Right.
doesn't sound right about
Right.
that. That doesn't make sense. And the way that this other podcast is set up, all throughout the episode, like they'll kind of talk and then they'll play a snippet of something and
Mhm.
then they'll talk and address it. And then, so it's kind of like a back and forth thing.
Mhm.
Anyway, I went and listened to it. So I went back and listened to the entire episode of the podcast.
Mhm.
And I will say, her words were very she could have done a better job of wording it. So what she had said in the podcast was she had been asked a question. She was basically saying something like, no, he wouldn't have been anybody except just like a weirdo that worked in a hotel and was living off at college or something like that. It was something to
Yes,
that
called
effect.
him a weirdo and said
Yes.
he was just a chattering
Yeah, something.
chattering weirdo,
Because he's a
chattering.
student at Clemson.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but again, I was like, that just does not sound like anybody that would say that. I mean, that doesn't sound like something anybody would say about the people on the
And
show.
is she special needs?
Yes,
Is she
she's autistic
autistic?
because she was on the show. Yes. So I went back and listened to the whole episode, and I don't remember what question she was asked, but her point was that she didn't do a very good job of is she was trying to express how she feels other people think about all of them and people like them. And listen, people can be mean.
They
I mean,
can.
I've seen it
And
and
that
I've
makes
heard
more
it.
sense.
Yes. And so she was trying to say, oh, he wouldn't have been anybody. He would have just been some weirdo because people think anybody that's different than them are weirdos or they're weird or something like that.
Mhm.
We know how people can be.
Sure.
So that was just kind of the gist of it. Plus, she ended up, Kaylin, responding on his mom's post. So if you scroll down, look at the comments, that's how I knew who said it because she responded on there saying, hi. And then she went through this whole thing saying, it's misunderstood. She said, I did a horrible job of trying to relay what I was trying to say. And then she goes on and talks about how great Tanner is. And she doesn't think Tanner is a weirdo. She was just trying to say what she thinks other people think sometimes.
Well, that makes much more sense
Yes.
because I thought who would number one
Yeah.
pick on Tanner,
Yeah, it
who's
makes
the most pure human being that's ever walked,
right.
and then second, um, that
Like who would
doesn't
just say it
who would
anyway.
just say it out
Right.
of the blue
On a
on a
podcast.
podcast.
So, anyway, now I think Kaylin, I'm not sure, I don't know if she had some problems with the show. I mean, I think that she thinks the show did a good job. The point of the show is really to show a day in the life or, the journey of someone with special needs. In particular, most of these individuals on here do have autism. There's some that have Down syndrome and other things, but it's to show their journey in trying to find a partner.
Mhm.
That's what the show. It's a dating show,
Mhm.
but it's also meant to be light and funny. It's not like the other dating shows that we watch where it can be crude or, it's just a bunch of drama
And
and
cruel.
sometimes even scripted a bit. Now,
Mhm.
if you watch Love on the Spectrum, you can tell that there's moments where they'll have them standing over here in front of this thing, like at the end of every day. They're always facing each other. I'm sure they say, "Y'all go stand over here.
Mhm.
Let's remember to ask the other person if they would like a hug or a kiss." Like, I'm sure
Mhm.
they're all reminded of all that. And then the way the show gets edited, like with any show, it makes it humorous. So, like, if you're
Mhm.
watching Love on the Spectrum and if, one of the cast members pauses or says something funny, the way the editing is, it makes it more funny. Or
Yeah.
they'll have crickets chirping in the background, like
Yeah.
if somebody's not saying anything. So, they do edit it to where it's funny in that way.
Yeah.
And I think there's some out there that think, oh, well, people are laughing at them or making fun of them.
No, they're laughing at
No.
how cute it is and how
Yes.
light-hearted and yeah.
Now, there may be some ugly people out there, but I can tell you for me personally and my family, we're not making fun of
No.
anyone. They are funny. They're like anyone else. When I'm
Mhm.
watching a TV show and someone on there, a reality show, we'll say, because that's what this is, if there's somebody on there that's funny, I'm going to laugh.
Mhm.
And people with autism can be funny too. They're just like anyone else. They have
Yes.
senses of humor.
Mhm.
They are very intelligent. I mean, if you watch and listen to Connor, I mean, they can be funny and they can be
Mhm.
witty and they crack jokes too.
Oh, yeah.
So it's funny. But anyway, I'm getting off track. So Kaylin is the one that had said that. And then Tanner's mom made another post today. I don't know if you saw
I
it. It was
didn't
this
see that
morning.
one.
And so she said, I just want to clarify that the point of my post was not to necessarily call anyone out, which she kind of did.
Or
She
not
said,
clap back, but
right. But it was mainly I was trying to let people see who Tanner really was. And as a mom, it hurt her to
mhm.
hear it.
Sure.
Understandably, I would have probably felt the same way.
Sure.
So she did feel hurt about it. And then she posted all of that just to show who Tanner really was. But that she and Kaylin have been DMing each other back and forth and talking about it. She has no ill feelings towards Kaylin, never did really, and that they are going to start like working together on some things.
Hmm.
So Kaylin, I think, has like a advocacy type thing. I don't know if it's a like for real business, but a lot of her social media, and I don't follow her just because she wasn't one of my favorites on the show.
Mhm.
But if you go to her, at least Instagram page, because that's what I'm on, all of her posts, it is like advocacy type information for autism and people with autism.
Mhm.
So she'll talk about things, and she kind of even does like little skits, I guess, if you will, or like reenactments. And then she'll talk about how if you see an autistic person acting like this is why, or this is how you can handle the situation. Or if you're working one on one with an autistic student and that they'll have a reenactment where someone's getting upset about something and wants to like throw something down and storm off, which is with any kid. But then she'll come back and say, these are ways that you can address it in the moment rather than saying, stop being a crybaby or, oh, sorry, you wanted a blue crayon. Sorry, it's not there. You just say, I'm so sorry you wanted that blue crayon. I mean, it's things that we all know anyway.
Mhm.
And so in a lot of ways, they just want to be heard too
Mhm.
when they're upset. But anyway, again, I'm kind of going off track, but she does have some good social media content. I will say that
Mhm.
just from what I've looked at. But I think one reason why I wanted to bring it up is obviously we love on the spectrum. But again, two things I learned from this. Immediately, people were like, "Who has said this?" And
Mhm.
let's go chop their head off.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes, I
So
was that way. I had it going listening and I was getting ready for work.
Yeah.
And I went, who the hell? Like, I
Right.
was like, who is saying this about Tanner? Like, what
Right.
is wrong with
Right.
you? Because first of all, I didn't know it was an autistic person that was saying it.
Yeah.
I thought this was just some Joe Schmo on some
No.
podcast, like making fun of him.
Right.
So I had the knee jerk reaction too. I'm like, what do you mean?
Right.
He's talking bad about
Which I
Tanner.
think that is normal, but
Yeah.
what it made me think about is that is what we do today.
Yes. Yeah.
Anytime anyone hears anything on the news or on social media or even by mouth, we just jump to
Yes.
conclusions and we want to judge someone so harshly and then we just put it out there. And so many times people don't want to hear the facts. They don't want to look up the facts. They don't want to see
Mhm.
what happened. And some people still think she shouldn't have said it and she was rude and ugly about it. Maybe. But I truly believe her when she says,
Mhm.
I was not saying he is weird. I was saying this is the perception that I feel like as an autistic person,
Mhm.
the perception that other people feel about others that are different from them.
Well, I had seen the post and you changed my perspective, talking about who said it. Here's the context.
Yeah.
That changed my
And
perception.
so I just think we as a whole need to start doing that.
Yes.
Let's take a minute,
Mhm.
even if we're upset. Everybody take a minute. Let's try to figure out, let's try to hear both sides of the story, see what the real story is. We have to use context clues, critical thinking. We're talking about critical thinking
Mhm.
another night in an episode we we're recording. So these are things that I think would help all of us, and it really would help the person on the other end of it who didn't intend for it to come across like that. We've talked about that before, intentions and actions and
Mhm.
all that, but it still matters, you know?
And I do not feel like I'm not referring to Tanner's mom, but along that same vein, people want to be offended.
Yes,
They go around looking for things to be
absolutely.
offended. They have to be a victim.
Mhm.
It's, he said this and it had to mean this. And so, yeah, I mean, again, I was guilty of it just now. I'm like, who the heck said that about
Right.
Tanner? Because he's the
He is,
sweetest
yeah.
human being, and he doesn't have a mean bone in his
No,
body. He's never done anything to anybody.
no.
And that made me mad thinking of some meathead
Yeah,
sitting on a podcast making fun of him.
right,
That infuriated me
right.
because he's different. But anyway, now that I know the context and I know, but I don't believe that Tanner's mom's going around trying to be offended by everything.
Oh,
That's
no,
not what
absolutely
I'm
not.
saying. But I did like, even though it turned out to be different contexts, I do like that she came to his defense,
Sure,
immediately protected her child, autistic or not.
right,
And I don't think she had to walk something back, but she was willing to listen
right.
and willing to meet in the middle. And now they might even be working together.
Well, the thing is, she knows Kaylin, and even the initial post, so Tanner's mom's name is Nikki. So even the initial post that Nikki made, she never said anyone's name.
Right.
She just said, "I want to address something that was said on the daily podcast
Yeah.
about Tanner."
Mm-hmm.
Or something like that.
Mhm.
And then she might have played a little bit of it and then did a video. But yeah, I mean, she was open to hearing what Kaylin had to say. And I will say, I don't know if this makes a difference because if you hear it, um, it sounds just like you and I talking. And so Kaylin is very high functioning.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if people would have known that she was on the show, who it was, or that she was autistic herself or somewhere on the
Mhm.
spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
that they might have even thought differently about it,
Sure.
maybe not. I mean, we all can say stupid things sometimes. You don't have to be this or that,
Yeah.
or you don't have to be this or that to get a pass. So,
Mhm.
it's just let's all chill out, about
Mhm.
everything, especially with the media. It stresses people
It
out
is so ridiculous.
and it causes more harm, and we all know it.
Yeah.
So let's just take a step back,
Yeah.
myself included, and just try to figure out both sides of the story and just not always want to jump on the bandwagon or, make your own posts on social media griping about something so, we can get a bunch of likes, egging each other on with comments and stuff. But
Yeah.
anyway, so
Well, I appreciate her jumping to his defense. And I would say that's what I look for in a girlfriend too. And I know you have my back. Um, I have a lot of acquaintances. Like I know a lot of
mhm,
people. I have a decent amount of friends, but I would say that there's a very small circle
sure.
that are someone that is your ride or die,
Yeah.
someone that, and I think if you even have one of those in your life, especially at our age,
Yes.
then you are very, very blessed.
You have to be able to trust someone enough to tell them some things that you don't tell other people.
That's right. Obviously, you and I've had some very um, private conversations about different things. But I think, for me at this phase in my life, I no longer can stomach people that are so superficial. I hit on that in our last episode that I have a really hard time with someone being fake. And I think when I say fake, I don't mean hey to your neighbor that you don't know very well
Yeah.
and say, "Hey, how are you? And your flowers look great," or whatever. To me, that's not being fake. That's trying to build a bridge
Yeah.
and have a
Big
relationship. I
cordial.
think when I'm saying fake, I mean someone that earns your trust, works their way in to find out specific information or something so they can share it and have something to talk about, use it against you, um, use it to maybe stab you in the back and build themselves up.
Yeah.
I mean, people have strange motives,
Yeah.
but again, at our age, I think it's just so important to have people around you that you feel that support. And, we've talked about this too about, me being single and being alone, not having a partner,
Yeah.
right? And so it's so important that I have that support system with people that I know I can count on. And it's not like I'm constantly needing things other than you to feed me. But, you know, I, I'm not a needy person.
Yeah.
Like I don't need stuff all the time from friends, but it's really nice to know that I have people that I can call on.
Yeah.
And there have been some people that stood right by me. I mean, I think about when I moved, I had an army of people that showed up and
Right.
carried boxes and moved furniture. And
And got their table stolen. Sorry, go ahead.
got their table stolen out of my front yard because we had, 10 yard sales to with the same crap because it rained and we had to run in and out. So I got
Here I am making it sound me.
no, it's so true. But people just showing up
Yeah.
and that when you're struggling and you see kind of the convoy coming,
Yeah.
it just really makes you feel loved.
Yeah.
You know?
Absolutely. Well, and I think sometimes I feel like, and maybe I'm misreading or misunderstanding, but I feel like when we did the friendship episode, like season one,
Mm-hmm.
that I saw somewhere or I got a vibe where like somebody made a comment about because we talk about how we've known each other forever, like
Yes.
over 40 years.
Yeah.
And we're proud of our friendship and that we've been
Mhm.
friends this long. And so, where somebody had made a comment about, they were with a group of girls or whatever, and, that these were her people and this was her tribe and all that. And you don't have to know somebody, since childhood to be where we are, just kind of
Mhm.
that vibe. I don't know if it was directed at something she heard on here or not, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But it has always made me think that if you have those friendships from childhood, that's something to be proud of. And if you don't, that's okay too. I mean,
Yeah.
people move on,
Yeah.
people move away,
Yep.
and you can make lifelong friendships as an adult. You can
Yes.
be an early adult, you could be a middle-aged woman.
Mhm.
It really doesn't matter as long as you have someone. And I will even say that from my perspective, I think that you and I are very different. I think we are different personalities. We even
Mhm.
like different things.
Yeah.
You're a lot more outgoing than I am.
Mhm.
You are a lot more fun than I am. 'Cause you're more outgoing. But like, we don't have the same taste in music.
No.
We don't have the same taste really in movies.
No.
What else do we not have the same taste in? There's a lot of things that even our hobbies, like you
Yeah.
like to do outdoor stuff, me
Yeah.
not so much. Like I'm not a
Yeah.
hiker, you are. So even some of the things that we enjoy,
Mhm.
we're not on the same page. But you know, we don't take offense to that. Like I'm not
No.
offended at what you like to do or the music that you listen to or the movies that you watch and vice versa.
No.
But we have enough in common
Mhm.
that keeps us together. Like we our view of life
Mhm.
and like the bigger picture items,
Mhm.
we're very much aligned
Yes.
together on.
Our values.
Yes. And I don't want that to sound like cheesy or anything like that, but it's like the way that we view life, the big, big things that are super important, we've always kind of been in the same lane.
The big rocks
Yeah.
are things that matter.
Right.
And no, I mean, God forbid, I don't have to have people around me that like everything I
Yeah.
like. I mean, how shallow and are
Listen.
you when you can't, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
When you cannot get outside yourself enough to be like, I don't really like that kind of music.
Right.
Or I don't really, I mean, who
Right.
cares? Who cares? Does that mean you can't be friends with
Right.
somebody? It's so crazy to me how people will discount friendships over the smallest little things.
What or try to like for me just to openly say, Mamie and I have a lot that's not in common. Like we
Yes.
have a lot of differences and a lot of like different types of interest.
Yes.
But you can still make your friendship work even if you have different hobbies. Or
Yeah.
because there are some things that we do like to do
Yes.
together.
Yeah.
I mean, we both love sports and we love Alabama football and there are certain types of concerts that we go to
Yeah.
together and, I mean, so there's plenty of commonality between us. And
Yeah.
so I guess my point is you don't have to find that perfect match,
Yeah.
even with friends.
Yeah.
I mean, I think sometimes we try and do that with spouses and then we try and do that. Oh, me and my best friend are just alike. And that's great if you are, but you don't have to have it.
Yeah. And I think the rub comes when you insist that the other person like the things you like and do the things you
Yeah.
do, and otherwise we can't be friends.
Right.
And I've seen a lot of, I don't want to call it unhealthy, but in my eyes, it is unhealthy codependency.
Yeah.
And so you have this friend that if you back out of your driveway and you go do something with another friend, they're mad at you.
Right.
I mean,
Or you can't do anything without.
them.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it.
And although I do think it's important
Sure.
to spend some time together and, sit around and have margaritas
Yeah.
and go to dinner, whatever. We do that. But if we didn't do that for 4 months, it's not like you're not my friend
Right.
anymore.
Right.
I don't have to be in your car every time you back out of the driveway
Yeah.
for us to be friends.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that comes from an insecurity, if that comes from, like I said, like a codependency where I can't think on my own, so I have to have your advice for everything I do, and vice versa. I mean,
Yeah.
again, I think it's super important to have those relationships, to have things in common, to spend time with each other, to have those experiences and those memories.
Mhm.
But my gosh, if you can't go, I mean, we went how long without hanging out? Years.
Yeah.
And we lived in the same town. But my love never changed for you.
Right.
I would have taken a bullet. If somebody said Lisa's in trouble, I would have burned rubber over here.
Sure.
Like, I don't understand that.
Yeah. Well, I think another thing that can bring friendships together or closer is if there's certain things that you share in common, whether it's trauma bonding
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever it is. It doesn't have to be anything bad. If you
Right.
work together or if you were in a female ministry together or whatever the case is, PTA or PTO, what they call it now, I think. Anyway, there's many things that can bond you together as women and friends, and you can also build on that too. And
Yeah.
so, I mean, we happen to have that anyway. I mean, there's some things in life that we both can relate to each other on. So that also kind of bonds us together and brings us together, but it's the whole picture. And so I think for us, it works.
Yeah.
And I just wouldn't want anyone to think that they have to perform or pretend to other people
Yeah.
like we're so close and we have everything in common and or if you don't have friends that you have a lot of commonalities with, like don't let that keep you away or make you shy away because you think, oh well, we don't have that much in common. Okay, well we don't have
We
a
don't.
good bit in
Yeah.
common, but we have so many other things too,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
And we both, love to laugh, and
Yeah.
doesn't take very much to get us going. But
And not even laugh at the same things.
no.
Like you sent me a funny video, remember like a year or so ago, and I was like, I don't like her. She's never seen me on video
Oh, well, all right.
without moment again.
Okay.
This female comedian.
Yeah. I was like, all
Yeah.
right.
I mean, she thinks she's funny. I don't. So,
Yeah.
who cares?
Yeah.
You send it to other friends that think she's funny.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
nothing to get offended about.
Oh,
but-
yeah. And I think too, it's a mutual respect that we have for
Yeah.
each other too, because I admire a lot of things about you. And I feel like we have that autonomy. Like, we like to do some of the same things, but again, we're our own
Yeah.
person. And I don't depend on you to make my identity and
Right.
vice versa.
Right.
So we're not Bert and Ernie. So
Who would be Bert? Who would be Ernie?
I
Who would
thought,
be Bert?
well, you're going to have to be Bert because I'm wider and shorter. And
Bert with the long.
yeah. He's got the high top fade going
Oh my
on.
word.
Yeah.
So fun.
But anyway, both of us have ugly eyebrows. If we both need a wax.
That's true. That's true.
If that's the case. But no, I think in all seriousness, I think it's just so important, especially at this phase of our life when we've talked about all of the stressors, aging parents, taking care of family members, your kids, especially, going off to college
Yeah.
or getting their autonomy. And that's really hard. Financial, trying to think of when am I going to retire?
Right.
What?
When are my kids going to be off my payroll?
Never. But it's just important.
Yeah.
And I think you have to have somebody that you can at least bounce things off of. So I'm very grateful for you, and I'm
Same.
grateful for you other ladies who better be listening to my podcast or you're cut out of my life. But I know at least one person's listening that has been a support,
Yeah.
to me in a lot of ways for a long time.
This is our last episode for this season.
Yeah.
So we warned you all that we were going to cut it down to 8 episodes. So we
Yeah.
decided to wear our mom
Mom
bod
bod
shirt
shirts.
as, the last episode for the season. And we honestly haven't had a chance to even talk about next season. I mean, I hadn't really thought too far ahead,
Yeah.
but, I guess we'll talk about it live like with everyone else, but I'm not real sure if we're going to be able to do
Yeah.
a fall season.
I've thought about that.
So the closer it gets, and so I kind of look at the calendar and I think, what all is left for Ashley and I to work on with the wedding. And then part of me is like, I mean, you might could still do it. I mean, it would just be like that week prior and after the wedding. And I just am trying to tell myself, Lisa, don't even, don't
Yeah.
even try.
Yeah.
There's going to be showers and teas and you getting fittings done and all that. And so I may just try to enjoy the moment. We'll have to see. I
Yeah.
mean, it's still months away,
Yep.
but I don't know what the fall looks like.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I've already thought of that. It's a lot, and you do need to be present and
Yeah.
enjoy it.
yeah,
And if it works, great. And if it doesn't, that's great too.
yeah.
Because this has been fun,
Yeah.
and it's been a fun ride, and that
And
doesn't
it
mean
sounds
we
so-
can do something later.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, we're not saying goodbye forever.
I mean, we're not doing it for you. We are doing it for ourselves,
Yeah.
not to be rude.
Yeah.
Nice to know that we're not just talking into the
It
ether.
seems to me that most people listen on YouTube
Yeah.
because of
They
the,
like to watch the video.
yeah, I guess. Or I think some people, my husband might be one of them. I think he plays it through YouTube in his car.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
I've done that.
yeah, I think YouTube has just as many alone as Spotify and Apple Podcasts does together. I haven't even looked at the Apple Podcast numbers this season, so I don't know. But anyway,
I think people do prefer the video, although I don't know why you want to look at this mug every week.
that
But
reminds me.
Lisa's pretty.
No, another thing is, let me check Mandy's lighting. If you do watch on YouTube, y'all, I'm so sorry about the lighting. And I'm telling you, it is something every season.
It is.
Season 1, it was the audio. Season 2, we were trying remotely, so it was still kind of the audio.
It was a nightmare
and
for
then-
Lisa, and I felt so bad because nothing I did worked.
Well, I mean, we tried something different, and then last season was better.
It was a lot better.
Yeah, we were downstairs. I mean, it was okay, and then we come back up here, and y'all, I know because I've had a couple of you tell me you got to get the lighting situation done, which you might, if you watch YouTube on your phone, you might not notice it enough, but if you watch it on your TV, I promise you, Mandy's side of the room, listen, my aunt Donna, of course. Now, I'm all over the place. Sorry, y'all. She called the other day after she listened to the Q&A episode. I saved it on my phone. I should play it. She called me up, dying laughing, leaving me a voicemail about something that we had said or done. And then she was like, call me back because I've got some more questions for you. But she was dying laughing. But anyway, her little granddaughter was watching it one day and was convinced that you and I are not in the same room because your wall is a lot different color
Yes.
than my wall.
And guys, just to set the record straight, it isn't. This is the same color. Like Lisa
Yes.
is sitting right here beside me on the sofa. We're just facing each other and we've got different camera angles. But because the sun goes down
Mandy's
as
by
we're
a window.
talking, I'm near a window.
Yes.
And the color of the walls look different, even though they're the same.
Yes.
And so it's driven Lisa crazy.
It's just
this entire
amateurish,
month.
per usual.
We
But
don't care.
listen, and I am at a different wall. And so I think the reflection, because we're kind of in a corner. But
Yeah.
anyway, so if you can just see this setup in here, I've got so many, of course, on the last episode, so many lamps on Mandy's side of the room open that it's going to look even better. But it is what it is. Maybe one day.
I'm either lit up like Jesus or I look like Elvis from the dead because half of my face.
Well,
you know,
when we start the episode, we both look like it's the same lighting. But
Yes.
as the episode goes, Mandy's side of the room gets darker for some reason. And it's probably because her camera is facing the window and mine is not.
Yeah.
And so the camera angle makes a difference. But so if you are still listening to us at this point, 4 seasons later, you are either bored or dedicated.
You are dedicated. And I know one person in Alaska, yes, Alaska, listens to us all the time and gets excited when we
Yeah,
have a
she
new,
does message us.
we
though.
have a new thing drop. So
She
anyway,
needs to be on if they ever come to Alabama.
She
They come
does.
to Alabama some.
they
think.
do.
I think
And
they still have
you
Facebook.
know, we could find a way to remote her in because she's a tech gal.
Yeah, she is.
So
Yeah,
You know
we
who
want
you
you to
are.
come on our show just to be a guest.
yeah, we want you to
don't
be a
want your-
guest.
we won't put you to work.
No,
Coming over
no.
here. Yeah, that's funny. So anyway, thank you for listening.
Yeah.
And
all of our ramblings.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
But we love it.
yeah, it's been super fun.
Yeah.
So,
Well, we'll see you next season. Don't
Yeah.
know when that'll
Yeah.
be, but we'll see you next season.
all right, y'all have a
Okay.
good week.
Bye. You too.
You too.